Alrighty, we returned in the Federal Bureau of Ghosts, or the video game known as Control. I am trying something different today. In the spirit of reality, I'm going to rob Lucky of an idea, and we're going to try a Wellington brand equivalent of a late night stream. Which is mainly what I have time to do right now, outside of me losing my mind with other things. So I hope everybody is doing well. But last time we played, oh god, what did we do? We successfully revivicated the NSC, which is the Northmoor Sarcophagus Containment thing, and I am happy to say that we have made sure our former directory friend can be used to be juiced as a power for time to come. Outside of that, I think I had some revelations, but I don't remember what they are. Such as the perils of time and not streaming for a couple weeks. I also did come to the realization that, Remedy is a company that I wish had more money. Which I suppose isn't a new realization, it's a... oh, good lord. Continuing realization of... Like, I just like how they cut their jib. Because, like, I've been thinking about video games as a kind of concept as of late, and I realize I kind of miss the risk that we have in it. Because, like, Remedy I like because they are willing to take risks for better or worse. Like, when I think of games like Control, I think it served them really well, but then when I consider, like, Quantum Break, which I did thoroughly enjoy, don't get me wrong. I think that certain gameplay decisions were a little bit weird, champ. What did I get hit by? Oh, I probably get hit by the air. Like, certain gameplay decisions were a little bit weird, champ. Like, the whole issue with there being 70-minute long cutscenes. We're actually gonna go back. We'll do the... I can remember... There it is. We'll do the mission to get the good defense, which is in the reactor room area. Maintenance. And hello, Kaladin. Indeed, local man lacks sleep. I'm trying out a new time slot for when I might be able to stream, which is immediately after work for about 2 hours. Which isn't a lot of time compared to what I normally do, but I realize you can't always do what you're used to. Sometimes you need to indulge in the spice of life, which is something I am a big advocate for the majority of the time. There we go. No, like, risk in video games, where a lot of things I like about Control, or at least the idea, or not Control, the idea of what's in there. Federal Bureau of Control, Field Training Actor Complaint. I'd like to file a formal complaint regarding the unauthorized use of my voice in a state of quality I did not agree on. The fact that they were planning to use material from what I thought was rehearsal was not communicated to me at all. Had it been, I would have disallowed the use of these recordings. I want use of the Ranger Field Testing course recorded messages to halt immediately. I will not stand for this humiliation among my peers. I will go to HR with this if necessary. Signed, Randall Pulowski. Hell yeah, Randall. Alright,
So I just read this. Welcome to the Ranger Field Training course. The course must be completed in the specified amount of time. When you're ready to start, press the button. Is that all, or?
I always did love obstacle courses.
Get ready, Ranger. Course starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I realize I activated the wrong mission.
Go.
And I realize I'm complicit in this as well, in regards to not endearing myself.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh god. To the idea that we can do more transgressive, novel kind of works of things. Because, like, there are things that I have ideas for that I haven't worked on, to which I realized there is more that I'd like to see. Like, I had the idea for a game kind of based
15 seconds remaining.
in the Foundation universe, or kind of cribbing that line.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh yeah, I'm completely fucked. Did that wall just move?
Course failed. Try again, Ranger.
Come on.
Oh wow, it did. And, like, it'd be interesting to have a game where you take the position of Harry Seldon and basically, in a sense, act as like a shadow government-y figure to cause like the downfall and then
Starting in 5,
revivification of a galactic empire, which is horrifying, but I find fascinating. Also, hello, Wick. Regrettably, I'm not shooting at dicks, so my aim is much worse than it otherwise could be.
5 seconds remaining.
Alright. And then... Come on.
30 seconds remaining.
Uh...
15 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Course failed. Try again.
Come on.
Oh. You game. Okay, I don't know how the gameplay of it would work. I was thinking about this on my drive home today. And the kind of idea I have is...
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go.
Basically, like, we have to consider what the position, like, someone like Harry Seldon or, in control of something like the Foundation would have in regards to like their ability to manipulate society, which admittedly would be limited, which is fine. But would grow over time due to the relative collapse of the Galactic Empire and the basically strengthening sort of power that is in an entity like Terminus.
15 seconds remaining.
And
Complete.
here we go.
Congratulations, Rainier.
Guessing
And
this isn't
like
usually part of the course.
I'm thinking, I guess like gameplay wise, I'm thinking about something that would play like a less crappy or clunky version of Fate of the World, but in reverse, rather than you just explicitly trying to save the world or something along those lines, and then you go off and, you know, do your thing. You effectively attempt to destroy the world and then mold it into, like, whatever arbitrary image you have in that game mode, but rather than saving, like, Earth, you're saving the galaxy. Which I suppose Fate of the World does have, because there are some Illuminati modes in that. And the Hello Mode. I do try and think about interesting things, 'cause being boring is boring. Copies have been da-da-da. Right. Right, is it Q? Yeah, it's Q. And I think, like, the kind of idea what I would have here is, like, this would be the easiest game to make, so you don't need to make it look really pretty. All you really need is effectively, like, a text prompt that does, like, if player does X, Y happens if these parameters are set. And you could probably make something fairly interesting with, like, in the vein of, like, a $5 price point, which, you know, is neat to do. I agree. I always find psychohistory, as weird as this is to say, psychohistory is part of the reason why I find economics so fascinating. Because I think you can... No, not with our current capabilities, but the idea of modeling and understanding a system of socially and psychically connected actors to achieve some end can be ghetto modeled is a fascinating concept. Though, like, I'm unfamiliar with, like, modern psychoanalysts. Because, like... Right, I don't have this tech yet. So I've not heard it phrased in the sense of, like, dialectic materialism. Because, like, whenever I hear the dialectic reference, I keep hearing people talk about the Hegelian dialectic, which I think is a mechanism of control more than anything, right? Though, the Marxist concept. Okay. Dialectic. Marx is a work, like a work I need to understand, or I plan on reading at some point, along with many other books in the, like, more persnickety avenue, even if, like, I won't agree with the author. It's always important to understand, like, the evolution of social psychology and, like, economic thought and just thought in general, because, like, the presence of information and the lack of information regarding things like what people were actively talking about or thinking of given a given period are important in regards to like getting a good grasp on like what their views are and crap like that. Which I think, like, you know, hate him or love him, is very important when it comes to someone like Marx. No, now that I think about it, the Hegelian dialectic... Is that referencing Hegel, who I believe was Marx's co-creator? Collaborator? Because he had some British guy that he was working with. If I'm recalling my lore correctly. Yeah, I mean, I'd believe it. I wish I understood German so I could try and read it in the original German. Because, like, there are certain concepts that he talks about in the Communist Manifesto when translated in English. I'm not sure if that's what he actually meant. But, you know. That's, the long dead hand of Marx's problem. Or Reuerbach? Reuerbach? That name I have not heard at all. When I was in my economic history class, we were talking about Marx, couched in kind of the concept that he is the penultimate or greatest or the final evolution thereof of a classical economist. Thank you. Where, like, if we're going to presume that classical economics is correct, Marx is very likely to be correct in regards to his analyses or something like that. Though it's been years since I've taken that course. It is always a fascinating way to look at... Oh, good God! Crap. I would have had that if I didn't miss the bomb guy. Bad. But... Oh, fuck. Please don't send me back to the top. At least I don't have to fight through all the enemies again, that's fine. Well, most of the enemies again. But... like... there are a couple of ways to slice the game. So, do you do it such that you look at it... like, what represents a turn? Because, like, I think the only way you can do that in a easily digestible product to consume or deal with is whether or not, or not whether or not, in the concept of a turn-based, like, kind of strategy game sort of a deal, where then the question becomes, like, what is a turn? So, like, for the purposes that I kind of want to have, I think a turn of, like, being represented by, like, a crisis is probably too long. Though, I suppose, like, if you're looking at it from, like, capturing the spirit of the game, like, in the paradoxian sense, it would probably be better to only do it during crises, because, like, I suppose, like, in the Harry Seldonian sense, like, societies need to be brought to a point where you are forced to a very specific outcome during one of these. Oh, good God. One of these so-called crises. Most of Marx's writings are very emblematic of their zeitgeist and have to be read with that in mind. Yeah. Oh, good lord. Understanding the context of any historical author always either makes them make more sense or allows you to better digest and enjoy the work. Where, like, understanding, like, trying to think of, like, an ancient philosopher, but I can use for this metaphor, but I can't. Because, like, you know, you can only really understand Aristotle better in the context of man who busts femboy tail all day, which is probably not the best way to think about it, nor correct. Not applicable, available. AWE 18, transcript of a call to California State Emergency Services. Dispatcher, 911, what is your emergency? Hello? Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me? I can hear you, ma'am. Where are you? I'm, inside the wires. I'm lost. Ma'am, have you been drinking tonight? I feel like I'm stretching through the wire towards you. Don't hang up. I might go if you hang up. Go where, ma'am? Go. Gone. Away. Okay, can you describe your surroundings? Ma'am? Hello, ma'am? Note, dispatcher attempted to call number back, but it was no longer in service. I'm gonna guess AWE 18 is the hotline. Oh. No, that's OOP 3. Okay. Well. Yeah, no, that's what has been on my mind today, in the closing hours of my job and other such things. Alright, we will watch the video for Dr. Darling, because these are always less good in non-video form. So... Darling presentations...
The astral plane.
Astral plane.
The astral plane. Similar to an iceberg, what you see is not what you always get. Regardless, this place is vitally important to the Bureau. Most information on the astral plane is classified, but we can talk in broad strokes, keeping in mind that these are staggeringly complex systems, and simplification does them no justice. Now, the white non-space, the ever-present inverted black pyramid. The board, all linked, intrinsically tied to the oldest house, tied to the director, the process of choosing a director, tied to all objects of power in terms of who controls them. Yes.
Like, I love Dr. Darling. I love that he's an absolute goofball.
Similar to an iceberg, what you see is not what you always get.
Especially given the fact that, like, he is Alan Wake's voice actor, which I will never get over. Given that information transmission isn't instant in the Foundation universe, you could turn the distance information can travel, so you might interact with closer to a single turn, but given orders take several turns further away, be out of date by the time it reaches you. I like that idea, but I think I want to expand on a couple of ideas. Because, like, I think that would work very well in Phase 2. Or maybe there's, like, 2 games you're playing, so to speak, where, like, the first half of your turn takes place on Trantor, or arbitrary galactic imperial capital, and the second half of your turn takes place on Terminus or Terminus equivalent, where it radiates both in and out. And, like, when you are playing on Trantor, that's... Thank you, Mord. That actually gave me a really good way to do this. Because there are... Spoilers for the novel, but there are 2 foundations, you see. So you would have the Foundation in the center of the Galactic Empire, hastening its fall, but not hastening its fall too much. Basically controlling the fall just in the right way, where the Terminus Foundation can basically take things in hand given the resources they have during a time period. So during the novels, you have the Kingdoms period where they use religion as a tool to bludgeon their neighbors into submission. Then there's the Traitors period, and etc. And then eventually they run out of Asimov ran out of ideas, but we'll ignore that for now. But the idea of, with your right hand, controlling the collapse of an entity so it goes at a very particular rate, and basically utilizing the advance of another entity so it's able to fill the vacuum at roughly the rate it is being created? Filled? Anti-filled? I don't know what a good way to describe
An early hypothesis
vacuum
was
here.
that the mindscape of the astral plane is subjective. But that was fast proven wrong. It's an actual place, not a construct of the mind, even though it is with our minds that we enter and experience it. But then, one could argue that that's the case with all reality. We've been able to record footage of the astral plane by monitoring the brain activity of those experiencing it. That is the only concrete material that has come out of the astral plane expeditions. Apart from the more shocking exception. In the astral plane footage, we're always in the vicinity of the pyramid. We've concluded that this, not the entire plane, is what the board controls. We have glimpsed movement, native species, always in the distance, and yet contact was made. We don't have footage of this, a technical malfunction, but when one of our astronauts returned, a brain cloud, an astral fugue, had hitchhiked a ride in his head. It ruptured out, killing the subject in question. It's a relentless predator, pursuing thoughts, minds, lethal to those the entity feeds on. Proper containment protocols are to be observed when dealing with it.
That's probably Dr. Darling talking about the hiss. Before we continue with our boy here, novel image. There we go. Like, part of the idea I have here is like how you would couch yourself as like the Galactic Empire, and like for me, of all the images that have been done for the book covers, this is the one that has always spoken the most thoroughly to my soul. Mainly because it reminds me of a series of paintings about the course of empire that was painted in the mid-19th century, but basically, I like the idea of, like, whatever entity you have viewing from the galactic core, slowly observing its transition from height to terror to oblivion. Where, you know, the once great and mighty Ecumenopolis is effectively a relic world in the context of Solaris. It's like, I wouldn't go so far as saying it's romantic, because, you know, the death of, like, a quintillion people is, like, anything but. But, it is, like, a fascinating thought experiment. Oh, good God. I'm gonna guess that's the Mind Flayer thing? Oh, it needs to go in here. Or the thing that hitched the ride. Because, like, the other things you have to worry about... Alright, so you can only close it from that angle. I need to initialize. Oh, there's two. Dude, the perils of being blind are hitting me now. Though, like, as a first pass, I'm very happy with what has been posited so far, but the also important question involving these things is, like, how do you make it fun? And, like, I'm always brought into thinking about, like, what's fun with, like, what are you? Nothing. It doesn't want to follow me here. That opens and closes that. Fun is relative. Will you follow me here? No. I don't have stasis in this game. So I guess, like... Those proper containment procedures. So I can use you to hit you. Then F. How do I get you to chase me? Well, that locks that door as well. That stuns you for a minute. That opens. Oh no. Alright. I have a guess. Though to cycle back what kind of spawned me going on this tangent is like, I want to see more Game Boy people take more risk. Risk. Like it could be a little risk here or there, like, you know, waste of like some amount of dev time if it doesn't pan out. Because like, yeah, you know, the Game Boy people, the people who make video games. Nintendo has made all 100% of video games since like 1920, right? But we have Uncle Nintendo. I mean, if we're gonna be entirely candid here, I probably did mean the Game Boy, the console, in some manner here, but we're not gonna worry about that. Alright, you... I'm gonna close you, we're locked in. We're locking in. Hell yeah.
What was the Bureau doing with that thing?
Nothing good.
Someone answer, damn it! We need backup down here.
Hey, Marshall is alive.
Marshall, are you still there?
Who the hell are you?
Shit. We're so close. We need to hurry.
Which is like... oh god. As much as I think that Resident Evil 7 is a bad game, Resident Evil 8, I think, is better because they at least tried something new. And also made the game a lot more playable. In terms of, like, content. Hello, Avenue! I hope you're having a lovely day. Where, like, normal spiel I go with RE8 is it is 4 horror games all duct taped together for like better or worse. Where you have your Five Nights at Freddy's, you have your Resident Evil 5, 6, 4, kind of like Rock'em Sock'em robot zombie monster. You have your classic Resi, and one other thing that I can't recall. Let's see. Big Lady is the classic Resi kind of example, which was too short-lived in my opinion. And not because we had Big Lady. Then we immediately go into... Right. We immediately go into the kind of FNAF jump-scary... or do we? Is that technically more in the vein of like you're attempting a psychological horror? I've always defined that as a attempting to do a psychological horror, which I don't think was done well in any case, if that is where... If I can't tell what they were trying to do with it. Then you have 3, which is Fishman and Roycer and the robots, whatever the hell his name was. Not Himmler. Heinrich? Heinschel? Heinz. Who's the 4th bad guy in Resi? Like, they made up a German dude for that. Heisenberg, there we go. Regrettably an H game, not H game. Oh god, not H game. An H name, just not the H name I would have expected. Or maybe I should have expected that, given the whole kind of Breaking Bad reference is popular with, yeah, Heisenberg. Oh, I'm very familiar with Heisenberg. He was the... for lack of putting it elegantly, the last atomic physicist in Germany. I know there are more, but I can't think of anyone who, after the war, was a big name. X-ray lightbox oop. What is the X-ray lightbox? We have fake brain. We have integrals for some reason. He was a physicist. True, he was a physicist. What are they doing here? So for T less than or greater than, that's a set. They've defined this They've defined a set here for some reason that is unitless, because I don't think that means time. Is that supposed to be a lambda? God, what does lambda represent? Isn't that like... Is lambda supposed to represent the length of a... Used to seeing it in E&M, but... Lambda is a valve. Lambda is wavelength. There we go. True, we have to get rid of the lore. Alright, so for some reason they might be looking at wavelengths as a subset of T, which you can, I suppose, define as a period, but... It is too late in my day to try and divine any math in that. Too late in my day and too many years since I've looked at a physics textbook. Alright, groupthink. Utilization of paranatural elements. Paula Bronte, researcher. Emily Pope, research specialist. This study extends the works of Irving Janis, Robert Barron, and others by proposing strong causal links between groupthink and the passive-active use of telepathy. To prove these connections, the Parasociology Department carried out various Solomon Asch's original conformity experiments using a telepathic individual as the subject of the experiments redacted for details. Extensive qualitative and quantitative data resulting from these experiments was then used to identify telepathic interference within the group. Further empirical findings suggest measures can be taken to safeguard against this telepathic influence on behaviors by engaging in redacted. Rather boldly, this paper stands to revolutionize decades of groupthink theory and provide a new direction for further experimentation on the mind, including the manipulation of redacted and redacted. I'm gonna assume this has something regarding the hiss in it. And that does explain the big brain here. And doubly so for the hiss idea, given the light bulb. Math is for nerds. Who the hell would... Oh, that's really bright. Who the hell would want to do math in this economy? Remember, kids. Spend all of your money on DoorDash and DoorDash-related accessories, and, you know, make your checks out the cash, or if you're a certain alien from a certain television franchise, make it out the drugs. Bam. So she is in parapsychology. I think we just kind of cleared the way. Just learn to code. That's a big oof, my guy. Are we meeting her up here? No, it's over here. The question is, learn the code in what language? Yeah, we gotta have everybody learn Visual Basic, or just
Yes,
Basic.
I can hear you. Who is this?
My name is Jesse Faden. I'm coming to help.
Faden. Hold on. I'm setting the elevator for you. We need to talk.
You got that right.
More of you? Really?
Oh dear. So if I recall correctly, these are the suicide guys? Learn the code in German? I mean, shouldn't we learn the code in Chinese then? No LLM is ever gonna touch that. Do we want to bet? ChatGPT. OpenAI. Who here knows anything about how to code Visual Basic? Come on, let me log in into GPT. Alright, bam. Alright. Get to see my... Oh, I'll do this so you can hide, so I can hide my private data. Screen man. Bam. Alright, what are we gonna tell it to do, Nemi? I would like help with coding using the language Visual Basic. No, not, why do I keep saying Visual Basic? Basic. I would like to loop a variable from 1 to 20. Alright. I'm gonna be really sad if this is really boring, and apparently this is really boring. You know what, that's my bad. I didn't specify what I wanted to do. Is it really just that? $2,000 jobs just lost. Alright. What else do you do in coding that we can use here as a meme demonstration? We have a loop that I have no way to verify the efficacy of. God, can you... I mean, basic... in theory, can't you, like, work with RAM directly? I know... Find the first occurrence of a user provided... Alright, there we go. I'm gonna steal your idea wick verbatim. Well. So, does BASIC use dimensionalize? God, what language uses dim? Oh god. Visual Basic would use it, wouldn't it? Because, oh god. This is making me sad now, because I'm realizing things that I probably should have thought of earlier. Alright. I remembered where I recognized dimensionalize from, for starters. That is in VBA code, which is VBA, which is used to control most Excel products. Yeah, cause like, code with cows. I like the code with cows. Like, cows are like a nice thing in like the environment. It's amazing how you would get so much more content. I can't imagine how unwatchable the VOD is, to be entirely honest. Just like going through, like, okay, yeah, we're jamming with the game, we're like having stuff going on, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Then we have a 5-minute diatribe of, let's look at ChatGPT's interpretation of basic coding. I wish I remembered what the hell I just picked up. No, we weren't talking about communism. We were talking about how you can interpret was it Hegelian dualism? Hegelian what the fuck was it? Hegelian materialism. The duality of Hegelian dualism. The duality of Hegelian materialism in regards to it being compared to the concept of psychohistory from the Foundation series, which I think is my favorite Asimov book that I've read, at least. I heard you were talking shit. Hell yeah, we always be talking shit up in here. By hallucination wick, do you mean, like, what rant I'm on at a given time? Because, like, my brain gets stuck on things, so, like, for a 20-minute segment, you can hear me talking about, like, either, like, different sitting positions at our local, Femboy Hooters, which I realize comes off much worse than I intended it to, or, like, a philosophical conversation about the philosophy of how the world is constructed in the video games known as the Expanse, by which I mean Control and the Remedyverse, using everyone's favorite philosopher, Carl Jung. I'm gonna shoot out that team. I did horrify a couple of coworkers today, though. With Wellington hallucinating. Because, like, I made a connection when we were talking about food. And, like, when you really think about it, this is like a corollary to the cupcake cake debate. And when you think about it, like, all cooking is manipulating goo or not goo. And I would posit that 90% of cooking is the manipulation of goo, pure and simple. Where in, like, the subset of things earlier that I was thinking of, that I would not put in the explicit goo category, is, like, making a hamburger. Unlike constructing a hamburger, because, like, in order to construct a hamburger, you need a product that has been at least frothy yeast goo for a period of time. But, in fact, just like the burger in and of itself. So you could have hamburger steak without having to touch any goo. Well, I guess no. The gravy on hamburger steak is, goo. See, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, have you never thought of, like, the whole concepts of, like, you define, this normal thing that has, like, 70 different paradigms that you can, consider it by, and you force it into 2, and hello, Baron. And, like, normally it's like, is it cake or is it a cupcake, or, like, is it a taco or a burger, or, like, a hot dog is technically a taco, where you have I don't really know where else to go with this right here. And you're not wrong, Baron. I'm talking about, like, after, like, it's finished being created in, like, the biblical sense. So, like, the beef has been slaughtered, the grain has been chucked, the milk has been milked, and then it's processed into its final forms. Like, technically, cheese is fundamentally a goo that has been originated from milk. But is milk a goo, is the question. So when you're drinking milk, are you just guzzling goo? I would think not, now that I think about it. Because it's not viscous enough.
I'm Helen Marshall, head of Bureau Operations. Zachariah's dead then. And I assume you found his gun.
Just call me Jesse. Trench told me to find you. He said you could help.
And he told you this through the hotline. Makes sense.
None of this phases her? Really?
Here's the situation. Darling created the HRAs in a lab nearby. We need more if we're gonna survive this attack. My rangers can't secure the lab alone, not against those things. We need more firepower.
At least she seems to know what's going on here. She could know about Dylan.
I can clear out the hiss. I'll be your firepower.
That's a good answer.
Is she testing me?
Darling has systems in place to protect his labs. This should help you get past them. We'll talk more after you clear out the hiss. Rangers, let her through. We'll have to lock the door behind you. Sorry, but we can't risk a breach.
I think we're going with Melk, M-E-L-K, because we can't afford Mulk. E strikes me as an inherently cheaper vowel as compared to the letter A, or the vowel A, but that just might be being biased against the, you know, the letter, being biased in favor of the letter A, you know. The goo of Theseus? You de-gooify the goo, is it still goo? I mean, if we're thinking about it, it fundamentally has had, in its state of existence, the concept of goo. It's just like, at what point is heroin not heroin? I don't know why I went with that example. I'm going to blame the video game Victoria 3. Is that really the worst thing? If you really think about it, cannibalism isn't really that bad. If you really think about it, I heard someone say Victoria 3. Yeah, Calvin, I was talking about how we need a heroin mod, and we need to have, like, an entire production chain specifically developing, like, different, like, drugs that we can sell to the people. Is goo a discrete category, or is there continuum? I was thinking of it in discrete terms, now that I really think about it, though I suppose if we wanted to be more realistic about it, we should probably define it as a continuum, or at least inclusive of, in discrete terms. Given the fact that, like, soup is a goo, but, like, soup is only a goo at, like, when it is, like, in its very sort of, not dilute. What do you call it? No, our friend died. Oh god. This is working much better than they anticipated. I recently read Tender is the Flesh, and it turns out that yes, cannibalism is really that bad. I mean, in practical terms, I fully agree. Cannibalism is, both from an evolutionary standpoint and from a moral standpoint, quite bad. But it's pretty pog in Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, because, you know, what the hell else are you gonna do, other than die? I don't know how many trade centers I'm going to build, Galden, because I haven't played with the DLC. nor have I read functionally what you can do in the DLC that well. Because I'm more of a tactile person and I can read something 50 quadrillion times and still have no idea how to do it. I'll just be happy to be along with the metaphorical ride of what's going on in the wide, wonderful world of Victoria Trace. Well, that reminds me, I need to update the thing. Or I need to buy the Quantum Pass, or whatever the hell you call it. Whatever the hell you kiddos call it these days. Oh, that makes Wellington a very grumpy cat. Just feel my soul dying. No, but, oh. Alright, luck and probability. Boy. A very angry cat boy. I can't manipulate the cat. This is very sad.
Darling sure found enough places to hide. That weirdo's got labs everywhere.
Alright, before my mind is manipulated into Wellington saying unspeakable things, I'm going to transition from this type of thought into something more mentally equitable. To me! Namely the fact that our fabulous friends are alive this time. Revived through the evil machinations of arcane science. You know, I really should have seen that coming. That's entirely on me. I mean, I do enjoy just creating a narco state in Vicky 3 just for the fun of, just for the kind of like ever-loving lark of it, and the fact that it's a very profitable scheme to do. It'll probably be less profitable in the upcoming patch. Are you going to transition from a cat boy to a cat girl? I mean, that would posit that I'm a cat boy in the first place. I suppose to address the allegations, I'm going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate myself. Second off, I don't know where to go with the second off. I mean, I am the ultimate arbiter of justice in this chat, Kaladin. Therefore, in a sense, I am judge, jury, and executioner. Not oh god, executioner. There's no edging in chat. That is a Wellington is slurring his speech because he's tired. And, you know, as judge, jury, and executioner, you know, in Wellingtonistan, which this is, I am the Senate. I think definitionally, though, it'd probably be better to be a cat girl than a cat boy. Probably better to be a horse boy than a horse girl. But I don't know what other, like, generalities we can draw from these kind of concepts here today. Because, like, I don't know what other, like, creatures there are. Like, are animal, insert animal plus boy or girl.
We never thought we'd be fighting on our own turf.
I was talking to C Fusion about that yesterday. Kaladin trying his hardest to prevent this conversation isn't happening. Yeah, I mean, as much as, like, I appreciate Kaladin's valiant effort into explain the patch, I'm not going to internalize it. After, like, working for 12 hours, having a bit of gym, and, then streaming for an hour. Which, granted, like, normally it's, like, after streaming for 5 hours. But, like, as we all say here, in Wellingtonistan, the hustle is appreciated more than the bustle. No, I don't know what I mean by that once again. But you gotta channel your inner Rizzler energy, Kaladin. Like, if there's anything the Boozy appreciated more than the Hussy. I mean, I do appreciate Hussy in here, and that's Andrew Hussy, the creator of Homestuck. One of the most pivotal things that I read when I was small child Wellington. Is that for the best? Probably not. But, you know, it is the life therein we live and lead. Rizzler energy is used on the ladies. No, you gotta practice harder. You gotta, like, rizz up everybody. Like, apparently I'm the biggest hoe that I know, wherein allegedly I flirt with every single human being I talk to, inadvertently, as I'm teased viciously for it. Which I don't understand, because, like, what's wrong with saying, like, hey there! Hey, how you doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Called talking to people.
Last anyone heard, he was taking a reason is currently unknown.
Baron, no! Baron, no! Oh my god! It's so high! Just lowercase slut. Baron, why? Alright. I do appreciate that, thank you. I mean, like, 90% of my interactions are online. And, like, you know, with that comes a level of, like, the only, Rizzler energy I'm practicing is, like, convincing you all that, certain concepts are better than not. You think this is rapidly flying off the rails, Kaladin? This is nothing. This is a perfectly tame Welly conversation here today. Oh, I did see that today when I was in Lucky. Lucky's... Why do I keep pausing? When I was watching Lucky earlier today. What is that titled? Choke job? Oh, Lucky. Honestly, like, Lucky is the person who's robbed the most in this community. Like, the greater Jake Chat community. Given the fact that, like, I'm streaming today, In part because I was inspired by Lucky. Because normally I like doing a, you know, an 8-hour, like a 4 to 8 hour Opus stream. Which is hard to do when, like... Please, it's called the Greater Jake Chatco Prosperity Sphere. I do prefer that one. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Mord. But... The... Inspired by quiet quitting. Well, no, it's like, Lucky has been doing 2-hour streams forever. Which is, like, very nice because, like, I mainly get to watch Lucky in, the VOD form. Like, I'm watching a rule... Pardon me. So I'm watching the Rule of Rose VOD, where I'm going through the, Detroit Become Vampire Metrosexuals. You know, it's really easy to understand, like, what the hell's going on. Actually, no, that's not true at all. But it's, like, a lot easier to kind of parse out where I am in the video, James. By... What was that sentence? That's the sentence of a man who's struggling to retain a cohesive sentence structure in the wake of being very tired. Among other things, which is why when no one was here at the very beginning of the stream, I titled this, like, the Wellington equivalent of a late night stream, which I know, means something very different in Luckyiestan. But, in the spirit of, robbery, we're going to have our own thing here. I believe it was Detroit Become, the Vampire, the Masquerade, Detroit Become Human, or was it Detroit Become the Metrosexual Vampire? In reference to what is it? In reference to the video game known as Vampire Diaries, by which I mean Vampire the Masquerade. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, like, for me, in terms of, like, my content creation strategy, if we're going to peel back the mirror for a minute, I always live in the school of content of you must always be having something going on. Which I don't know what school of content that is, or what media theory that's in. It's the entire reason why the entire plotline of Beaver Overblood happened, because I was desperately attempting to not have blink time.
Session 2. I will begin by introducing various stimuli to the item. First, a low voltage electric shock. No response. Next, I will introduce heat via a standard Bunsen burner. No response. Next, a series of solutions will be applied, each with a different value on the pH scale, from 0 to 14. No response to any value. Next, I will attempt to communicate. Can you understand me? Can you understand my words? Quack if you can understand my words. No response. This concludes session 2. We'll need time to prepare further tests.
Alright, so... fully, like... pushing Wellington's mind into the mind girdle so I can compose this next string of thoughts. This is what I love about Control and the Remedyverse and all that jazz, is the systemification of dealing with supernatural phenomenon, and the whole kind of dealio of in a scientific society, how do you kind of comprehend and deal with something that is beyond
This
contemporary
way to the lab.
explanation?
Okay. You must like these HRAs. Sounds like Darling built them. And most of the things around here. If Marshall can't help us with Dylan, he's our next best bet. Assuming he's not dead. Or taken over by the hiss.
Now, Dr. Darling, our boy. No, but like the whole idea of if you're in a supernatural situation, how do you fight against night? There we go, Mord. Mord gets it. Because, like, I suppose I'm a bit bored with real life, because, like, what I like about, science is the discovery and kind of finding things new. And regrettably, like, from my perspective,
Any
as
idea how to make
I
it work?
bitch about on every other stream, is the kind of wooification of physics in regards to the advent of the power of string theorists, who are my normal enemy. Okay, Blackrock prisms. We'll read this. Blackrock prisms are unique formations of blackrock, distinct in both their shape and potency. While the density of blackrock dampens paranatural forces, the unique redacted structure of prisms retain frequencies in range redacted to redacted hertz with perfect redacted harmonization. This report analyzes the results, focusing a redacted through a harmonized prism onto a redacted. Methods for imprinting of non-physical fields onto redacted, imbuing them with the properties of the harmonized resonance redacted in the prism will be explored and explained. Refer to file redacted for full report. See, I'm with you, Baron. I want to hear, like, a 70-year-old, like, Chinese grandma and a 70-year-old, like, Cornish grandma, like, yelling at each other, like, throwing, like, whatever it is grandmas have on hand. Those little Danish cookies. At each other about, like, what yarn is the best yarn in order to construct, like, you know, grandma cocaine, otherwise known as, like, sweaters.
Hello again, Director. It appears we have a new problem. We need to get the HRA machine working.
I've replaced a couple of spark plugs, but this looks a bit more complicated.
Hell yeah.
Darling must have had a system. Randomness isn't in his nature. The punch cards, the symbols, the terminals. How do they connect?
I'll see what I can do.
Wait, isn't that like a Lewis gun? Why does she have a World War II machine gun? Lady, no! Okay. So... A and B, or A and Delta are here, presumably. We need other photos we can steal. Lewis gun is a crew weapon?
We need to find all the punch cards.
Yeah, I would believe it. That's a hell of a lot of steel right there. I mean, I don't remember if I said this earlier, but I love how unflappable this lady is. Like, she strikes me as, like, someone who has the energy as, like, she has dealt with 10 directors over the course of her career, from, like, Grunt into, Master of Ceremonies. And, like, she's probably fought a demon uprising, you know, fought a...
Have you checked the upper floor?
whatever the hell the hiss is, all this jazz. So what I'm really concerned about now is whether or not I remember correctly whether or not it's called a Lewis gun or not. Which, based on your reaction board, I'm going to assume I'm correct. But... like, you hear stories of, like, very few people who have, like, the kind of rigor and the candor to be able to, like, handle
Each punch card should correspond to
that. I realized this, Lassie, but the question is what punch cards? So that's 4. Or we're presuming is that one right there. So that is... bam. We have the off-brand umbrella symbol for 1. That's 5. It's not the same image.
These whiteboard drawings may be important.
So we have small left man and big center. So small left man, big center, which means we have whatever the hell you are. And where's our final kiosk? There we go.
Looks like he was working on something to do with these symbols.
That wasn't correct. I'm going to assume that we can switch 2 and 3. Though, to get back to my point, like, I always enjoy the science of adventure, even if it's, like, a bad idea. Like, let's assume, you know, I'm assuming, let's presume that theology is correct. Like, imagine being on the Hell Expedition, right? You invent interdimensional travel and then, like, you're like, hell yeah, we gonna be fighting demons. Figuring out what demon science is.
Darling's prototypes have a lot of issues. We need a new plan.
At the same time, we're fighting ghosts.
To make this machine work. Darling has another lab down in the Blackrock processing site and maintenance. That must be where he keeps the prisms.
I've been to maintenance already. I can find my way.
But how long will that take? Nothing here is simple. I need to ask her now, before I go.
I need something from you first. What do you know about Dylan Faden?
I knew this was coming. Lives are at stake here, and we need this machine working to save those lives. Once that is done, Director Faden, then we can talk.
She's right. As much as I don't want to admit it, I'm the only one who can help.
Fine. I'll get the prisms first.
Dylan will have to wait just a little longer.
But don't call me Director. Jesse is fine.
Don't call me
I'll
Shirley.
call you Faden. Here, you'll need this keycard.
Thanks. Emily Pope has set up a base in Executive. Once I have the prism, I'll meet you there.
Right. I'll move out immediately. And keep an eye out for Darling. Finding him might be the key to stopping the hiss.
It's just one large-scale HRA. It's there now. We are about to be exposed to a different kind of resonance. Hostile, viral, invasive resonance. That's what the Hedron resonance amplifiers are for. Taking the protection Hedron can provide us, and keeping us from being wiped out.
Here, this will lead back to Central Research.
Alright. We've unlocked more information. We're going to go into the Shadow Dimension, where they have Blackrock. And I do agree, we just need a scorned woman to defeat Hell, and while it might be the plot of Doom, that doesn't mean... If anything, that advances my point of like, hell yeah, we should do it. It's fun. Like Wellington putting heavy stuff in wells for fun. I am uncertain what you mean by that statement, Kaladin. You get a frowny face for that. They have Blackrock is actually in the capitalist dimension. I mean, we do have unmitigated mining there. No, but like, theology discussions are always fascinating. And... No, I read those, Kaladin. I just don't know, like, Wellington putting... Okay. It was a pun.
Marshall knows something about Dylan. Is he here? Is
I
he all right?
reiterate... Brownie face.
First. They'll help save everyone, including Dylan, once I find him. Can you keep him safe? Like you do with me?
The choked out lucky emote is my reaction right now. Which is better than the Oyoji, if I'm gonna be entirely honest. I'd rather be choked out than be an Oyoji. Because I'm an anime villain. I must be the bane of everyone else's existence. Simple as. No, like, theology discussions are a novel thing to embark upon. It's a conversation I have not infrequently with my flatmates, because, it's a thing that is done. And as part of it is, like, orthodox iterations of theology are, like, kind of weird, champ. Like, I will never not understand, like, how weird champ Catholicism as is. You know what, Kaladin? No. No one has tried to get me to believe in six-dimensional Raw yet. Yeah, I don't even know where to take that one, to be entirely honest. How about three-dimensional cows? The best I can do for you, Mord, is a spherical chicken. I don't think there's any cow underestimating that's going on here, Kaladin. like a moderately pro-cow kind of conversation that's being had today. Oh my good... Oh, that's to the Baker Motel. Like, cows are a very versatile animal. That is not a very versatile whole. Are you going to try and peddle some, like, cow-based, like, conspiracy theories here, Kaladin? If so, that's not very pog towards the cows. What did the cows ever do to you? Alright, as we know, this is the Alan Wake room. This is our room. I don't know what the other rooms are. They were talking about something about, like, the blank interior of a pyramid, so I'm going to presume this is the Hiss. I don't know what else is going on here. And for clarification again, or to reiterate, the Ocean View Motel and Casino, which is what we're in now, is powered by the rule of 3, much like any Nintendo boss. Question though is which 3? Alright, that one is fine. Oh god. We gotta clean up the bedroom? No! Oh, it's probably match the 2 rooms. So, straight, right, out, left. Straight, right, out, left. Keys to the spooky room, and I don't think there's anything else we want to do. Continue towards Blackrock Processing. Yeah, the turbine room, which is where we just were. And yeah, the bridge is up. I don't know. I think cows are chiller of the animals. Cause like bulls are like, I guess male cow. Male bovine. And they are not chill due to Spanish propaganda. Chickens are okay. Are they also pretty chill?
To find a way to Blackrock Processing.
I don't know
Marshall
what
said we'd find a prison.
the lore behind matadors are, but I'm assuming there's a lot of animal torture there. Based off of this response that you are having, Mord. What I'm going for is basically much like how, like in certain movies, it's like, we starve the dog for 5 days so we'll eat you alive. Presumably they do something a bit weird, champ, to bulls to gin up their anger chain. Alright, the Atlas theory. I was really hoping you would give me the lore. Research, astronauts, Atlas. The Atlas is a physical expression created by the Oldest House. Its purpose and function are currently unknown. Specific shape and dimensions of the Atlas, see file ATL03. For said dimensions seem to indicate a more explicit purpose than the oldest house's usual walls, floors, or shifts. The Atlas changes form, but resists observation when doing so. No visual observation has been made during its change, and it only ever occurs between frames when monitored by surveillance cameras. Previous theory was what this change corresponds to house shifts, that the Atlas is a manifestation of the oldest house itself. However, shape changes do not occur at the same time as building shifts, which makes this theory doubtful. Structurally, the Atlas is made of the same unknown material as the rest of the oldest house. Further observation will hopefully aid in discovering its purpose. Alright, this is all perfectly understandable lore here regarding the bull. Then, like, what's like a not chill animal? Goats aren't chill, from what I understand. Llamas are not chill. My god, there are people actually alive in the Blackrock route. Blackrock Rabs? Ugh. Yeah, horses can be a bit dicky, from what I've heard. And zebras are nothing more than colorful horses. Nervousness personified? Take anxiety, bushy tail, you have a horse. I guess that's more appreciable. I think in today's modern age, people can appreciate anxiety a whole lot more. So understandable. Which I didn't expect to talk about horses again today, to be entirely honest. Thought we were going to have our one comment about horse boys being better than horse girls, and then we'll be done with horses for today's time segments. But you know what? Y'all managed to bring it back. Which I can appreciate greatly. Greatly? What about bear people? I don't know, bear people are okay. I think... You know, my own personal autism is not powerful enough for me to have figured out how to enjoy Dwarf Fortress yet. Why are horse boys better? I mean... I want you to put yourself into the mind of a furry and re-ask that question, Wick. That is all, that is the Wellington non-answer for today's adventure. Instead of going to upgrade my ballistic missiles, I'd prefer never to do that. That's understandable, but in Wellington fashion, we're going to institute rent-free madness inside one's head. Honestly, I really like the damage of this. And upgrade it more. And then actually upgrade my health. I really need to upgrade my health. No, I don't have enough points. I mean, Wick has been a wise individual for a while, but much in the vein of the babbling madman in the video game Darkest Dungeon. The mere utterance of certain things that I say has the capability of living rent-free inside one's head. Their words, thoughts, machinations, and sadness that can be found within the dulcet tones that I'm spewing out. I mean, we could do a reading from the Necronomicon here. And I can dig that. It is a very fascinating concept of a game, and I believe the existence and presence of Wayne June made it all the greater. I never played Darkest Dungeon 2 because I couldn't really get into Darkest Dungeon 1 properly. We almost had Old Lady die! That would have made me so sad. Also, who the hell am I supposed to be talking to? Are you Arish? Who is Arish? I mean, it seems like a perfectly fine game. Based off of what I've seen of it, it delves much more greatly into the kind of concept of, roguelike.
During an AWE investigation, our agents discovered a light switch cord in a Butte bungalow closet. They pulled the cord and were instantly transported to the Ocean View Motel and Casino. Dream like haze. Whoa. Inside, they found a door marked with an inverted black pyramid. And just like that, it led back to the oldest house, some 2,000 miles from Montana. Now we're finding the cord in increasing numbers throughout the Bureau. Somehow the two places, they became in tune to each other. The actual physical location of the Ocean View is a mystery. Stepping beyond its walls has so far proven impossible. A place of power, like the oldest house.
It isn't as much after they added the option of getting new characters in taverns if one dies. I feel that means you've overtuned your game if you make that a feature. Because, like, I feel the point of it is to have... Oh god. Pardon me. I feel the point of it is...
I'm glad to see you're still you.
Oh, it's this guy! We'll talk to him in a minute.
I'm not doing so hot. You're fine. We'll push through this. The Hiss are the ones doing the pushing, Doc.
Have you noticed the recent tension between Trench and Darling? They've both been acting odd lately. Trench concerns me the most. His sudden hostility towards Darling's project is very unlike him. He was the one to approve all this Hedron research in the first place, but after Darling unveiled those HRAs, he was livid. I personally don't see any reason not to equip Bureau staff with an additional protective device. Especially not if it's as strong as Darling says. What do you make of this? Have you seen anything from either of them that strikes you as odd? Let's talk in person, soon, before the next Bureau head meeting. So she's in charge of the Rangers, which are the external kind of force projection force available to the Federal Bureau of Control, where Salvador was the security chief, which is the internal defensive force, I guess. You see, I thought the point of the game was like you level up in between playthroughs, which gives your characters more abilities when you're like beginning new campaigns. So like you want campaigns to be successful, but the point of it is to iterate through characters. No, in 2, like I remember watching Bear Taffy play many a year ago.
Whatever the fuck that was. But we are barely holding on here, boss. How's the situation outside maintenance?
What do I tell him? The truth is harsh, but these people seem familiar with death.
The Hiss are everywhere. Most of the Bureau is lost. We need Blackrock Prism to make more HRAs for any survivors in the safe rooms. I'm here to check Darling's Blackrock lab.
So to recap, death, disaster, and imminent destruction. Another day at the FBC. Well, Darling's lab is just past Blackrock processing. But I got good news and I got bad news on that front. Good news is, it's right down the hall. Bad news is, a Hiss monster has decided to move in, so that's great.
Monster.
That's what the Rangers said. The ones that survived, anyway. But we are just treading water here, and the Hiss keep coming. Salvador would know what to do, but apparently he took a security team into the containment sector just before the lockdown happened, and, well, no one's seen him since. But hey, at least we got you, our fearless leader.
They shouldn't rely on me.
True.
They don't know me. They don't know how I've failed people.
Or so...
You've done a good job here, Arish, but you should take your people and get to the base in Executive. You can regroup there. I'll go deal with this monster. I'm getting kind of used to them.
Aye, aye, Faden. And be sure to put a bullet in that thing for me.
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, in the spirit of, like, an entire quarter of today's stream, I won't criticize them for doing so, because at least it's trying something new and different rather than just making Darkest Dungeon 2 just Darkest Dungeon 1 with other stuff.
Ranger Squad Charlie 7 returned from an expedition into the quarry threshold just after 0500 Zulu. Can you please state your names and describe the purpose of your expedition?
Kevin Horowitz, Rupert Wells. Our mission was to map quarry grid coordinates G29. Secondary objective, as always, was to find a route from the threshold entrance and maintenance to formation. Secondary objective was not a success.
What a surprise.
Hey, remember the deal?
And did you encounter any previously unrecorded event or entity while inside the threshold?
No, nothing. Do you think we should tell him about the mermaid?
Excuse me?
Yeah, the mermaid. Horowitz here found this mermaid in a quarry, just sitting on some black rock. She was singing this beautiful song, and he was overcome with desire. Oh, she was so alluring. I'd say she was more enchanting than alluring. Fine, enchanting.
Did you tell your CO about this?
No.
I've seen parasites.
Because it didn't happen.
What the hell is a
Nothing happened. As usual, the quarry is full of rocks. That's it. Can we go now?
Fuck you guys. Get out of here.
I do appreciate little vignettes like that as well. But Faden worries me. She's a little bit too down on herself, I feel. You survived the particular apocalypse that's going on here with enough aplomb. And I don't think she should really be such a downer. But, like, I don't know. I love it when people learn from mistakes, and I love it when people try something different. Even if it ends disastrously, because that's the only way you can iterate through the new into the good,
about that monster.
and also into the bad. But, you know, from the bad we learn quite a bit. Where we learn that ranch and blueberries are a terrible idea. Though, ranch and dressing, maybe not. It just becomes an endive salad with extra steps.
You showed me the HRA when I first got here, and the machine that makes them. Can you help me find a prism? Shit! They're shattered. Not a single prism left. What the fuck?
The hell was that?
Let's hurry up and find Darling's lab.
Atlas Chambers, where we just came from. But like, making a good roguelike is hard. Especially like Cthulhu themed, because like for my personal biases, I think all Cthulhu video games and multimedia efforts are a bit
Should get us into the quarry.
because they're
You
too
heard that
goddamn
too,
depressing.
right? Black rock comes from a threshold, a quarry. So the prisms must be there too.
Think of it as
Though that's just because Wellington does not like sad cat energy. There's too much sad cat energy going on. However, we're gonna watch Dr. Darling's video and probably call the stream there. Alright, Darling Madal.
there are areas in the oldest house where, under the right conditions, when the frequencies match, other dimensions leak in. We call these areas thresholds. The quarry is one of the more stable thresholds in the maintenance sector. That's where black rock comes from. Extra-dimensional matter. It has the unique property of blocking out a lot of frequencies. A good thing. It keeps things stable, contained. Think of it as paranatural lead. Our research involves many dangerous things we absolutely need to keep in check. That's what the Black Rock Line fire breaks are about. The panopticon container cells.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but I need the code for the quarry elevator.
Oh, Emily. The codes. Black Rock 665. Neighbor of the Beast. Get it? We can do that again if you...
I love you, darling. You're such a fucking goblin. And Baron, I see your point, but at the same time, it doesn't mean like you have to be like, the ending of the game is you get pegged by Godzilla. The end. Which I feel like a lot of the Detective Cthulhu games delve into.
I am in an infinite building leading to different dimensions, and I never want to leave.
Which is...
Even with all the horror, I'm happy.
Which Jesse here has the correct response to all of this.
Or just the right kind of insane.
Or at least more options for a dark ending that's not complete, like... Eh. No, they're just, levitating. The uncaring universe cuts the character growth short because we're meaningless clumps of matter, hell yeah. Yeah, they're just having a baller time there. They're just jazzercising, as the kids from the 1970s would say. God, when's the last time someone's legitimately jazzercised? Ugh. I don't believe in music. I think music is illegal. Is this the NSC? Hell yeah. The last time you said that, Kaladin, you provided me a piece of art that was very sussy baka. Like, I did not know how to respond to it when I was watching and listening to it. If Funky Tie Friday is the last music video you sent, I was not a fan. But I don't recall what the title of it was. Funky Tie Friday? Day? I do not believe I enjoyed that. Gregorius Magnus, we shall keep our music monophonic. I do like that. I do like the name of that, even if the reality of the situation is not real. However, no, it was the music was discordant in a manner in which was not conducive to the way I like to think about music. So it did not jazzercise with Wellington Brain. Alright, we're going to do a twitch.tv to a twitch.tv. That. Alright, who's still streaming? Blobber's still streaming. Relics is already done? Yeah, Blobber still seems to be going strong. Ninja's playing Mahjong. I think we'll raid into Blobber because I like the game Blobber's playing. Relics was going through a hard boss. I really need to play Undertale and Deltarune at some point. I have watched a playthrough of Undertale, and I find the concept of Deltarune fascinating. But yeah, I will call it here. I hope everybody has a wonderful morning, noon, or night, and I will see you next time.